Welcome back, world. This is Mr. Nicholas King Bolak Brown. This is day 69. That's right, 69 days going live. 69 days. Mission goal was to go live for 30 days. We've had surpassed that. Today is 69. And so we've talked about a lot of great things. Have had a lot of experiences in these 69 days. Gone now, we're into a new year. This is year 2026. And so now, in addition to executing on the goals that we have for 2026 and our plans and things like that, I find myself, of course, reflecting on the progress and the experiences that we've been fortunate to have and unfortunate to have at the same time. However, I'm thinking about, always focusing and thinking about how I can get better and what we can do better and how to really understand how God communicates with us, more specifically myself, how I need to talk to God more specifically to achieve exactly what we want in detail. It's like, for instance, saying, want God to bless me with $50,000. But instead of saying just $50,000, because it can come from anywhere in any kind of way, I bear witness to that. So I've learned my lesson to where if I'm going to ask for it and pray on it and work towards it, I got to specify, like, $50,000 coming from my efforts, coming from happy experiences, without having to lose any loved ones, without having to go through any trials and tribulations, like rather $50,000 in grant money. Like, got to be something specific and receive money in a positive way, money that won't cause heartache or pain or things like that. Because man, words do have power, and we don't never know how things gonna pan out. So this journey of life is extremely challenging, to say the least. Now I know when I say my father of the year, I'm not saying it to say that like I got it all figured out, because I don't. All I know, I'm just putting my best foot forward, and I knew what I had to do in regards to when I started having children. I had to start getting myself together, because I knew instantly that if I didn't get my life together, then it was gonna be harder for my children's life. It's gonna be harder for my sons. Starting with the first one, then I end up having some more. What's up, cuz? What's up, babe? So yeah, that was like my main focus when I started having children. Like, man, I gotta make sure my life together, because if I don't, then their life gonna be way harder. So that allowed me to start looking for better ways to better myself, to focus on the future better. It allowed me to at least look ahead 18 years, which I've only been able to do that once in my life, and that was when I was falsely accused of a crime I didn't commit when I was 17 in high school, when I was facing 12 to 15 years. So that forced me to look ahead to seeing how, if things didn't go the way I wanted to go, 15 years ahead from 17, then like, man, was that 29, 15, and I'm like, man, I'm only 17 years old. No, not 29. Oh, I got my numbers wrong. It ain't right. 32. So I'd have been 32 years old if everything had gone according to that plan without getting even worse than it would have been. So from 17 to 32 in prison for something I knew nothing about, something I didn't do, something I wouldn't have done, something that really was what's the word? It's like it was out of my character, whatever. So it was like putting it was putting bad on my name, I guess you could say. I can't think of the word right now. What's the word? Hey, babe, what's the word when they somebody say something bad about somebody's character or something? Not reputation. When somebody characterize somebody's character, something like that. Defamation. Yeah, it was gonna be defamation of character. Well, it already has been defamation of my character. Because I don't know who may have gotten the news, even though it being wrong, and just ran with it. Because, like, say for instance, being 17 years old in the newspaper, for Metro Morning for some I didn't do. Who knows how many people got the newspaper? Who knows how many conversations we had without anybody having the facts that was, you know what I'm saying, looking at me in a negative way, whether I knew it or didn't know it. Like, who knows? But all I've been able to do is just, all I could do and can do is just focus on what I can control. And what I can't was out of my control. I had to get at the God. Constantly work on my faith, learn as much as I can about God so I can learn how to use and utilize God. You know, God's supposed to be able to help. If you don't understand how it works, then how can you use it to help? For instance, like when you learn that words have power, and you start using more positive words to replace the negative words. You start to speak more life into yourselves or to ourselves or what have you. Because what they say, the Bible says, and when I say the Bible says, I don't think I done read the Bible and I done mastered it, nothing. No, it's hard for me to understand it because once I start watching certain documentaries and listening to certain master teachers, when they say that the Bible is not to be taken literally, that it's written in metaphors and allegories and things like that, then when you read something, is not, you can't take it literal. So when people read it, it actually shows like their level of understanding as well. And I know that, I remember when we used to go to church, we used to figure we're going to church, the preacher must know what he's talking about because that's how he's the preacher. But then you start learning that they go to seminary school. And then the more you go, the more you go to church, you're like, hold up now. This it's not really what I thought it was. But that ain't what the topic is right now. But just thinking about all the churches that we've gone to and all the funerals that we've gone to, all these different times we've shown up at church and things, and it's never really fed me like going to the Nation of Islam has, and to where I can learn to use and do something for myself. Even when I've taken my children to church, and then we went to the Nation of Islam right after, asking for their take and see what they learned from it, what they thought about church in regards to what they thought about going to the Nation of Islam at the mosque. And I would say a couple of years ago, my youngest son told me that it seems like when you go to church, the preachers, or they do a lot of singing and basically they teach you to pray to Jesus. But when you go to the nation, they seem like they teach you to become God. So it's a whole different thinking to where it's one thing when you go on and you asking for help and you just waiting, and they pretty much telling you to wait on the Lord and you'll have your blessings after you die. But when you go to the nation, they teaching you to become God, become God. Because what they say is we all are God's children of the Most High God. So that means in some aspect that we are God and we have the Spirit of God in us. So certain things inside of us are made in the essence of God. So what the nation teaches us is do for self. Do for yourself, build your nation, take care of your family, take care of your family, build your nation. Become more so like an entrepreneur. If you don't have a job, create a job. They don't preach against job, but I would say in regards to jobs, especially with the young people now that don't seem to want to work or things like that. I would say the best thing a young person can do, in my opinion, in addition to becoming an entrepreneur, I would say they need to get them a job. Get them a job, study entrepreneurship, study other entrepreneurs as they make money from jobs, save their money as much as possible, and invest in their education. And invest in mentorship, invest in going to seminars, invest in their products and services, something they can sell, a problem they can solve while working the job. And while they're working the job, within a year working the job, they can go get them an FHA, depending on how old they are. At least if they like 21 or something like that, they on the job, they'll qualify for an FHA loan, go put down 3.5% on the house, and they can live in their house for about a year. After about a year, they can rent their house out and go apply for another FHA loan. And within 5 to 10 years, they can have at least 5 to 10 rental properties, in addition to working the job and creating some type of digital product or some type of entrepreneurial venture. They don't have to rob, they don't have to steal, they don't have to kill. And they can be self-sufficient and they can be productive. With or without a high school education or a diploma, or with or without a college degree. So there's so many things they can do. It's just if they don't know and the people around them don't know, then it doesn't exist to them. But when you're around people and you want better for yourself, when you really use your smartphone to make smart decisions and learn what the smart people are doing, then it starts to grow you. So that's what I would say. And you don't have to wait to be a grown-up or someone that's grown. You can do it as young as they can comprehend. If they can play video games and work a tablet, I think that's the perfect time to introduce them to entrepreneurship. Learn, teach them to do something for themselves, how to buy something for a low price and resell it at a higher price, or find somebody that has a need and fill that need, solve the problem, whether it's cutting grass or cutting hair, or you name it. There's so many ways to get paid and be productive and make a positive impact. But we as a community, we got to do something about all this killing. I keep looking at all these news stories, and what I'm doing is so far I've made like 2 files, two files from scrolling on social media. I got several, but I'm going to talk about 2 files in particular. I got one, which is pretty much is Jackson news, and I got another one that's Atlanta news. Well, matter of fact, I say I got 3. I got one that's Jackson news, I got one that's Atlanta news, and I got another one that's for world news. And one thing I'm noticing in regards to the comparison between Atlanta news and Jackson news is the same type of crimes, the same type of negativity, the same type of dysfunction is pretty much comparable all across the board. The same type of things I see going on in Jackson, I see the same type of things going on in Atlanta. Now, what I do notice is that from the people that I see, the people that's from Atlanta, the people that's in Atlanta, they don't too much speak about the negative things as much as they speak about the positive things that's happening in Atlanta. But it's like the opposite is what goes on in Jackson. More specifically, from those of us that are from Jackson, we mainly focus on the negative things that's going on in Jackson. Not to say the negative things ain't important, not to say they're not bad, but it's the same thing going on in different cities. I've lived in different cities, and the same thing been going on from Atlanta, from Atlanta to Jackson, to cities in Louisiana and cities in Texas. Same thing. But like I say, the people in Atlanta, they speak about the positive and the good things that's going on in Atlanta. But the people in Jackson tend to speak about the negative things on in Jackson. I seldom hear people talk about how bad the streets are or how bad the crime is in Atlanta. And there's some bad streets in Atlanta, and there's some bad crime going on in Atlanta. I'm talking about every day. It's a whole lot of homeless people. Like, it's a lot of bad looking areas, dilapidated houses, like all the same thing we complain about in Jackson, the same thing going on in Atlanta. I don't think what I would say is people in Atlanta seem to have more pride in the city of Atlanta than I would say that a lot of people like us that come from Jackson. Not knowing that as Jackson in the condition that it's in right now, it's ripe for opportunity for us, those of us that's from Jackson. once we get our mindset right and get our finances and we start using our money in a more wise way. Just think about it. I remember looking at one of my brother's Instagram posts probably about maybe 5 or 10 years ago. I mean, he had he had a bed, and he had so many different pairs of Jordans on that one bed. They wouldn't even half the shoes that he had. And so I was looking at the bed. I was counting the shoes. I'm like, damn, that's like $4,500, $5,000 worth of Jordans just on that bed. So I'm looking at a lot, like every time they come out a new pair of Jordans, we have lines. People have lines. People be going to stores buying them out. Like it'd be a whole big thing. Which is, it's. Hey, what you doing, man? Put it back. Yeah, y'all go do the voiceover. That's what y'all go do. I'm doing something. You leave my TV alone. Give me that. Yeah, put that up. Put that up. Y'all go do that voiceover so I can get it to the animator so we can go and finish this book and the cartoon. Yeah. So, huh? Huh? What you mean what y'all do? Y'all get the book, the files in my phone and mama's phone, go read it, record it, have some high energy on it, so when the people listen to the cartoon, it's be engaged and entertaining. Once y'all do that, then we can send it to the animator. Then we can pay them, go and get that done. That way we have our book finished before we have our next book signing at Barnes & Noble.
Where do we do it at?
In there, where it's quiet at. I'm in here doing live Nissan, so it's not gonna be the place to do it at. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, we gotta be wise with our money. So now, especially we looking at, so like I say, so that's Jackson news and that's Atlanta news. So let's think about world news. World news, more specifically in this country, in the U.S., there's so many jobs, people being laid off from their jobs, people being fired from their jobs, like food lines, like in a lot of places it's real bad. A lot of people are struggling. And they were cutting out food stamps and things like that. Even after cutting the food stamps, and there was such an uproar about the food stamps and the daycare vouchers, when they came out with them Gamma shoes, them Gamma 11s, all I seen down town now, people showing shoes, $235 for a pair of shoes, and even complaining comparison about the rips and the real ones, even though they all made in the same place.
Chris said he heard it in the background, Steve.
But go in the closet then.
He was, with the door closed.
What you want me to do? I tell you what, this is what y'all do then.
You know.
Okay, so this is what you do. Y'all practice on it real quick before y'all start recording, and I'll wrap this up in about 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
All right, so go on in there and do it.
Uh-huh.
And have some fun with it. So the energy will come through when the people hear it. So, but yeah, so in the midst of all that challenge and struggle from the people losing their stamps, people losing their jobs, but we find the money to go buy the same shoes over and over and over, tennis shoes. And if you look at the world news, the people in the world ain't even thinking about no tennis shoes. Don't even care. Like when I'm looking at these rich people, some millionaires, some billionaires, they don't. The folks dress basic as they possibly can. The last thing a lot of them want you to know is that they got a whole bunch of money. You got to do your research to even know who they are. You'll be in the same room with these people, and they'll be multimillionaires and billionaires, and you will never even know. However, as soon as we start getting some money, start getting some resources, we become a billboard for other brands. And what I will say, and what I notice about since we've been building our brand, nothing gives me as much, not many things give me as much pride and joy than to walk around with our own brand on. I don't even really want to wear anybody else's brand, like with the logos and labels and things. I want my own logos and labels. It feels like there's a sense of pride come along with it. A sense of ownership come along with it. And then I'm wearing it, my wife's wearing it, my son's wearing it, and then we offering it to the community. So we have family members that's wearing it as well. I'm supposed to walk around with like a polo horse on, or a Miri Hollywood, or like all kind of different things. These like designer shoes and belts and things. Like we want our own everything. And so I'm training my children to want their own, so they'll have their own. And my goal is for that mindset and that thinking to be transferred to my descendants, to their children, to their children's children. So I'm thinking not just for today and tomorrow, I'm thinking about 30, 40, 50 years and more, because we're going to have descendants here. We're going to have children here. We're going to have grandchildren. We're going to have nephews and nieces here. So this information that we have got to be shared and spread so they'll have it. So they'll know what to do. So they won't be lost and wondering like most of us are until we figure it out, or get some uncovered information, or get some mentors and we learn things that we never learned at school, or never learned at home, or from the environment that we come from. Because honestly, at this point in history, and here we have been for some time, we playing at the bottom, when these other people are playing at the top and they making money off our backs. I mean, just think about it. When you start looking at the numbers and doing the numbers, it's like, man, ain't no way we still doing like this. Like, then you look at, we got people in the government, from the city council to the mayor's office, to the governor's office, to the president's office, all the different places and stuff, from the colleges to the professors, the alumni, all this thing. These who you would think would be like the quote unquote sophisticated and smart people, but we got the same problem. So that means that they either don't know how to solve the problem, or they don't care to solve the problem. And I think it's the latter. I know if I'm learning these things and I didn't get no college degree and I wanted to drop out in high school and stuff like that, and these folks have gone and joined these sororities and these fraternities and all these organizations, and they have these meetings and all these different meetings and stuff, and the problems seem to be getting worse. Then we got all these churches on every block and every corner, and the community steady getting worse and worse. Like, something's wrong with that picture. And as I say, once you start going around other communities and things like that, it's completely different. It's like night and day. It's really concerning. And then to know that they build prisons based off the third grade reading levels and stuff like that. And most of our children are either reading below grade level, or they can't read at all. So where they either illiterate or functional illiterates, from what they say. And it's an epidemic, and it shouldn't be, because if the children can't read, it's not only a reflection of the conditions of the school, it's a reflection of the household that these children are coming from. To where it shows that the priorities, or the children reading and becoming self-sufficient adults and young people is not the highest priority. For instance, we look at this, there's so many concerts, there's so many shows, I like all kind of events that happen, and these events are packed. I'm talking about from in person to online. But when we have people such as ourselves, and such as Kamikaze putting together, and others putting together the 1,000 Man March, you got Kansas Gray and Coke Boomaye and South Jackson, they putting like an entrepreneurship event free for the young people to come in, and they teach them entrepreneurship, teach them how to cut hair and other things, and teach them to be respectful and to stop advising and stuff like that. But when you go there, there's nobody really showing up like they should. But if it's a free toy giveaway or something like that, it's packed. Or if it's like a rap concert or something like that is packed, that's a reflection of the household. That's a reflection of the parent. Because children are going to do what we have them do. Bless you. Children going to do what we make them do. Just like going to school. If we didn't make them go to school, they wouldn't go to school. So, if we got people in the community that's doing things, leading by example, but it's not packed out, that's not a reflection on the people, on the young people. That's a reflection on us as the grown people, the ones that are in charge and control of the children's and responsible for their well-being. Well, their future is important. And if we're not focusing on them having a great future and things like that, and to where they become self-sufficient, especially when people are losing their jobs, schools are closing, and crime is high, and all these different things, we're the problem. It's not necessarily the children. Like they're a reflection of the problem. Hey, straighten it real good by the refrigerator. Hey, stop stomping. You a little heavy, dog. But yeah, so if we want our children to do better, then we got to be better. And like I say, I'm not pointing the finger. I'm just speaking from personal experience. I knew that if I didn't get my life together, then it was going to be harder for my children. And they didn't sit well with me. So my goal is for my children to be better than me in every aspect. And certain challenges that I've gone through, I don't believe they should have to go through those. So I'm here as their guide to steer them away from the wrong path and to keep them on the right path. Sometimes it may not be fun. Sometimes it's going to be challenging, but life is challenging and life is a bunch of ups and downs. But one thing they do know and they will know is that Daddy is present, Daddy is active, and Daddy is in love with them. So much so, my life is revolving around them. The goal is to make sure they're in position to be where they need to be at and have better chances and opportunities of success than I've had and than the people my family has had before me. And so we're doing this without any college degrees, without any major backing. We're taking all the income that we're making or money that we earn. We invest in ourselves. We're reinvesting in our craft, in our books, in our education, in our travel, showing up at these events and networking and with these mentors, all these different things. And we've been doing this for quite some time now, for at least, I would say, it's 2026, for at least 5-6 years now, consistently. But that's just this next phase of, but like I've been teaching them all their lives. So this has been going on for 13, 14 years now. So as I get better, and one thing I like to say, as we get better, as I get better and as we get better, everything around us gets better. From our circumstance, our living situation, the mindset, the condition of our children, the trajectory of our lives, the information that we take in, the entertainment that we enjoy, the conversation that we have, the friends that we have, all those things get better once we get better. And we get better by focusing on self-development and learning as much about God. So I say keep God first, learn as much as you can about God. Understand how God works, understand how nature works, understand how the laws of the universe work, laws of attraction, and more. And apply them. Apply them for your benefit. We got everything we need and more to create a better world for ourselves and for our family. And there's no better time than the present. So I challenge all of us to start making better decisions in regards to ourselves and our children. I challenge us to start speaking more positively about where we're from, have more pride from where we're from, learn more about the history. Because if you don't know the history about Jackson and where we come from, all you see is the negative things and things like that, then what is to be proud about? But when you start learning your history what sacrifice was made before on your behalf before you even born, and see like the sacrifices that our ancestors made. I'm talking about from years ago, from today. 'Cause we make history every day. So, like I say, one thing I say again, one thing that I noticed in regards to people that's from Atlanta versus people that's from Jackson, people in Atlanta seem to have more pride in being from Atlanta. People from Jackson, first thing you're gonna talk about is how bad Jackson is. I have yet to hear somebody from Atlanta talk about how bad Atlanta is. And it's as bad, if not worse, here in Atlanta. Now I see the news every day from Facebook or any social media platform or any news station. Like, it's going down in Atlanta just like it's going down in Jackson. However, despite how bad it is in Atlanta and surrounding areas, the people have so much pride where they're going to keep on talking about the positive things. You'll think everybody's unified and everything is beautiful and it's the closest thing to heaven in Atlanta, which I would say it's one of the best places to be as an entrepreneur, somebody that want to move forward in life, to grow, get some resources and some uncommon information. So once we start looking at Jackson the same way, being proud of Jackson, being proud of the people and support the people from Jackson. Another thing, the people from Atlanta support each other. All may not be unified, but they proud of being from Atlanta, and they support. And there's always something going on. So there's always something going on in Jackson too, but people don't necessarily, not enough people don't support it. Or they don't support it after they know about it, or they don't know about it. You got to start checking, research, and get in the know. What you doing, bro? What I tell you to do? It wasn't boxing. No, I didn't. Said go in there and read it. So when you start reading it, when you record it, it's gonna come easy for you to read it. I said I'll be out in about 5-10 minutes. So I for one am extremely proud to be from Jackson. Regardless, they talking about Jackson is what they say, the most dangerous. Whatever. I don't think those stats are always accurate, but they based off certain numbers and things like that. But even still, we're able to do great things in the midst of that. But also, once we start having more pride and more love for one another, the crime will go down. Then we won't be the lead of the worst things anymore. Because if we think about it, most people, especially most black people, like most people are killed by the people that's around them. More Caucasian people are killed by Caucasian people, more Hispanic people are killed by Hispanic, more black people are killed by black people. So once we look at each other more so as family and friends and realize we're all connected and want the best for each other as we want for ourselves, then crime will go down overnight. And if you think about it, if most of these crimes now are caused by young people, then we got to get our homes in order. We got to put the right thing in our children's mind. If you don't know what to do, put them around mentors. Put them in some sport programs, some martial arts or chess clubs or some debate classes or something. But most of all, get them a better understanding of how God works the Most High. And that works for them. In addition to that, love on them. They need love. They want love. They may not say it, may not know how to express it, but they're looking for attention and looking for love. And they're looking for a way they want to have things. So, and then I think about it, like, you got young people around here killing each other. The reason that they killing for can't be that deep. Like, they haven't lived long enough for it to really be anything too pressing. Somebody may have been talking about somebody that made them feel bad or embarrassed them. Somebody may have stolen something. Or what else? Or somebody may have disrespected somebody. Or somebody misplaced anger or something like that. But they also learn jealousy and envy from the environments they come from. So if they see somebody having something they ain't got, whether it be new clothes or a father in the household or money or girls or something like that, then they become haters. So you gotta think, little small haters come from big haters. So they may come from household of haters, hearing the conversation that the parents have or the grown-ups or the people that's around them are having. And they just mimic what they see and and repeat what they hear. So our problems can be fixed, and we qualified to fix them. We're capable of fixing them. We just have to start where we are. Start at home. And everybody's house everybody get their house in order, and our community will be in order. Then we'll notice the reflection in how the children dress, how they conduct themselves. And also in the music that we make and the music that we listen to. And so if we can do it, you can do it too. This is day 69. I am your host, Mr. Nicholas King Bolek Brown. Support the movement. If you have a book, thank you for purchasing a book. If you have one, get another one for someone else. One thing what these books would do for the children and the people that read them, they look at them, they will see a positive representation of themselves, doing something productive and constructive. And then, like I said, we can do it, you can do it too. We almost complete with our 10th project. We got 50 to 100 more lined up and more. Like creating them and coming up with ideas that's the easy part at this point. But getting them structured and financing, that's where the challenge come in at. And so the more support we get, the more products we put together, the more book signings, the more seminars, the more traveling we do, the more tours we do. And nobody does it alone. So we are counting on your support. We are thankful for your support. And be blessed. Love on, tell somebody, whoever in your house, start telling everybody that you know that you love them. Sometimes it may start off strange at first, especially if it's not something that's coming. But you do that for a while, it becomes second nature, and the more we keep sharing love, the less hate we'll be sharing and expressing. So, from me to you, keep going. Let's make this year be the best year possible. Those of us that are going through challenge and loss of loved ones and things, stay strong. Look for the meaning in the pain and suffering. And if you're in pain going through it, be the shoulder that someone else can lean on and uplift them, and that'll make you not feel so bad. That'll make you feel better. Let's just lead by example. Let's be the change that we're looking for. So again, day 69, signing off. Until tomorrow for day 70, Mr. King Bolek Brown. Check me out on YouTube. Currently, my page is Mr. King's Perspective. I will be sharing this live, and it's going to be on Facebook, and it's going to be on YouTube. So check me out. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.